What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my hardcore WoW challenge. Now, last time we talked, I mentioned that I had a new full-time job and recording was going to be a little tricky, but here we are. So, last video we hit level 30 and unlocked Berserker Stance. From there, I thought it would only be smart to head back to the wetlands so we can finally tie up some loose knots there.
When we made it, we started heading down the coast to an abandoned shipwreck to kill some cursed sailors for a quest. Then a 4-man group pulled up onto the ship. They were intending to do the same quest as I, so we grouped up. We basically could pull all of the sailors at once and destroy them. It's insane what you can do with a 5-man group in the open world. But after that, we swam to the second ship to kill the sailor leader and get the key. We went back and finished up the quest, which wasn't anything crucial for a warrior. So we set up north to kill some dwarfs. Now the dwarf quest is an elite quest, so you need a group. We slaughtered their whole village, and then we moved over to the camps. We ended up pulling several dwarfs. This is all my fault, of course. I didn't think they'd all leash. They chased us all the way back up to the village, where some leashed off, and we only had to kill a couple. We made it out alive, thankfully, and finished up killing the dwarfs close by. That's when I leveled to 31, and the mage, of course, enchanted our gear for all the help we've done. Now we set down south to the hills to kill the orc chieftain and take his head back to Menethil Harbor. He wasn't much of a fight either. After the quest, we parted ways with our group, hoping the 4 of them are still alive. Next, we went to the stockades to finish the last quest from the dungeon, killing Cam Deep Fury and taking his head back to the dwarves in the wetland. After that, we then started upgrading our skills. Since we are now 32, I thought it was time for another dungeon. Razorfen Crawl. Now, why are we doing RFK? Well, I am a sword-only warrior, and there aren't many swords in this dungeon. This dungeon is noted for having the Corpse Maker, a very good warrior weapon. But, well, we need to finish up our warrior quests for the Brutal Haberk chest piece. That gives you 30 rage instant with a 1-hour cooldown. When we finally all arrived and went into the dungeon, we cleared through all the mobs. Considering our tank was super juiced, Overlord Ramtus was the first boss we destroyed. I tried to kill his ads while the team focused on him because someone needs to kill these bastards. He dropped the fabled Tuscan Helm, the best looking helm in Classic but in Brown. It's for sure an upgrade, but I greed and the Pally wins it. I really need to just need on everything. I'm just too nice, I'm sorry. But I do greed on these shoulders and win them. They have less strength but more stamina, so they will be good for tanking. I'll say though, mages are just so OP, we can pull everything, and they just blizzard them down. Always bring a mage. Our next big fight was Agathielos. We kill him and he drops nothing important. Next is Charlaga. They dropped an axe, and I reminisce on my dwarfs as I mine some ore. But we can't cry now. Our tank is pulling the whole room. I'll say it again, always bring a mage. We start the escort quest and get this little dude all the way to the exit. Now it's time for me. We destroy all the competition up to where we need to be. And that's when I charge at Rugug as I ass pull another ad. He isn't much of a boss, but I get my vial and we head off towards the final boss. Now we save this boss for last because he can mind control and he's super strong. But we still have to kill a different boss since we skipped him as well. Agam didn't drop anything for real this time and his chest was locked, so he sucks. Another thing with these ads around the final boss is that they cast Gust, which stun locks you for 10 seconds. This is where I got my first mind control. Boy, I was shaken when this happened because it's so easy to grieve me. But you know, it won't matter because it won't happen again. Oh my god. While I was mind controlled, they decided to run because they were out of mana. And of course, I wasn't DPSing because I was mind controlled. I was so scared. I thought I was going to be the strangler that gets murked by the pack, but the warrior came back to save me. And that's when we started to regen and fight the pack by the start of the dungeon. We slayed the pack, and a boss, of course, mind controls me for the 3rd time. And for all this work, he drops his cloth robes. What a good run. Well, after that, we said goodbye, and I logged off for the night because I was rattled. The next day, I went to Dustwood to quest and get some mining done. We came to Dustwood so we can finish the next warrior quest. All we need to do is kill a bunch of werewolves for their blood to forge a helmet. We mine some more and group up with an AoE grinding mage, because no shot will I be able to tag anything with him here. We collect enough blood and the burning rock from the guts spill. Back in Stormwind, we collect the helmet, which has agility on it, so I'll be losing some strength, but the dodge and crit chance is worth it. We smell all of our stuff and bank it. Flying our Griffin to Arathi Highlands, we make our way to Hillsbrad Foothills. The reason we have made our way north is not because Hillsbrad is a hot zone for leveling and cross-faction interactions. No, we are here for one thing, the Wind Watcher. He gives us a quest to go and collect troll tusks, elemental essences, and life roots. This will help us summon Cyclonian, which gives us the heart for our whirlwind weapon. I noticed I was about to ding, so I started killing turtles till level 33, and boom! We grow stronger day by day. The next day, we awake in beautiful Stormwind. I decided enough is enough, and I need to start planning on my future. This is where I bought some swiftness potions to help me if I ever pull too many mobs. We buy some new skills, but I don't want to go crazy on spending all my mount money. This is again where I stop to smelt some more ore. I bank all the ingredients and buy some mats for the Yeti fur cloak quest. Then I set off to Hillsbrad for some leveling. We turn in the quest and get the cloak. I'm fond of it because it has agility, which helps us crit big. But now it's time to take on some murlocs. We slay every murloc down to the fin. These slimy bastards were never enough to stop a warrior such as I. Once we slay all the locks we need and take their heads back as proof, we then head back to the shore to kill some Nagas. Here we are joined by a mage. We destroyed every single Naga, and it's a really good combo for mage and warrior. After killing all the Nagas we need, we part ways. Hopefully this mage is still alive and isn't dead. Hillsbrad has to be one of the best zones in the game. It can be dangerous though, because of the two faction hubs being located so close to one another. But I paid no mind to the northeast side of the zone and continued north to kill some assassins. A warrior joined my side. It's only fitting that we pull 3 or more mobs and almost die. It's just the warrior way. But of course, we come out unscathed, not even a scratch on us. After we get our kills in, we separate. We both have a different warrior path lined for us. We'll just see who makes it to the end. I go back to turn in the quest, earning myself a new belt. We accept some new quests and head to Ironforge to turn in another quest. Taking another flight back to South Shore, we now have to take on the quests we started. Up in the mountains, we get surrounded by Yetis, and I'm a little hesitant to attack one. But as I destroy them, I finally see the potential of my power. But we aren't here for Yetis, we are here for ogres. Each ogre we kill has a chance to drop a dirty knucklebone, which we need 9 of for some reason. We're also hunting tomes from another quest. We will definitely need a group though for that quest, since it will require us to steal a book from the heart of the ogre's castle. When we were almost finished with the quest, a rogue needed some help with the same quest. So I thought, why not? I helped him for a little while, then parted ways when I got tired of it. It wasn't enough XP to stay all the way to help him, and sometimes we gotta think of ourselves. We head back to South Shore and turn in the quest, accepting another ogre quest that we will have to do later. Flying to Duskwood, I think it's time to finish up this zone. We head near Darkshire, where a zombie knave Stalvin lives. He has an extensive questline, which leads us here. We slay him like it was nothing. Such brittle bones and soft dead skin was no match for our katana. And next, we turn in the quest for a nice ring that has a lot of spirit on it. But it's time for what I personally have been waiting for since I started playing hardcore WoW. It's time to slay Morladame. We group up with some nerds, and I head over to the graveyard again. He was no match for us, and as the Voidwalker and I tank, this is when I realized what I'm about to get. Heading back to Darkshire with our buddy Stitches right there, eating some people, we talk to the daughter of Morladame, and she tells us of where Morladame was laid. We mine some ore and head off back to the graveyard. This is where we pick up Arceus, a legendary blade that has the chance to blast a target for 85 arcane damage. Now, this ain't the best weapon in WoW. It's probably not even the top 5 most mid weapons. But I love the model and I love the ability. Even if it doesn't have any stats on it, I feel it makes up for it. Finally, on the final day, we set out to Arathi once again to finally get our first aid to 225. Once we land, I decide to pick up some quests so we can also earn XP on the way. Destroying some trolls, I move into the keep. We stay on our guard because I've seen some elite mobs here once before. The last time I was here was in Wrath, and in Wrath this area is full of mobs to kill. I also played Horde, so I'm not sure if it's the same for the Alliance, but I stay on my guard until I notice some friendly knights in a burnt down village side of the keep. Crossing the bridge, I find the first aid trainer, and we buy expert first aid to finally progress our stats. I buy more books to store for the future. Moving on, we head to the nearby farms to kill syndicate officials. If you haven't noticed, this sword has grown on me. Seeing the arcane procs always make me feel good. After slaying a majority of the syndicates, all I need now is to kill the stealth highwaymen. Being a human has its niches, such as our ability to find stealth enemies easier for 20 seconds. As I was fighting one mob, I noticed a second one in front of me. That's when I backpedaled into another. Having to take on 2, I knew I had to bring out the stops. Surviving this encounter, I have to be more cautious in the future. We turn in the quest and head to the troll camps. At the camps now, we slay the forest trolls. Their voodoo is no match for a warrior such as I. After a while, I decide to risk it and head into the cave. This is where we are joined by 2 more strong warriors, and we mop the floors with these trolls. Once I get what I need, we depart and head back to the refugee point, earning a nice 75 silver. Now, I don't want to see any comments for this next part, okay? None. I decided to start Macreel's Moonshine. Now for this quest, all you need to do is make a slight jump onto a broken bridge and take the moonshine to South Shore. Well, this slight jump was a little bit more than we could chew. I fell not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Before I make the jump, we talk to the dwarf and head to wetlands for a flight to South Shore. Now remember, we are a determined warrior. Falling 10 times is nothing. You can't succeed if you don't fail a couple times. Giving up the moonshine to our fellow dwarf, I hearth. We bank for a little bit and make some bandages, and I set off for our next adventure. Taking Dustwood to Stranglethorn, it's time to make some progress on our whirlwind weapon. Stranglethorn is a very good zone. It's got a raid, world buffs, and a whole city with an Alliance Horde auction house. We accept all the quests at the Northern Alliance camp, and now I'm on the hunt for some life root. If you don't have herbalism, you can only get life root from a couple of sources. One of the best sources is the medicine men in Northern Stranglethorn. They have a low drop chance, but they're still obtainable. The best part of this plan is the other quest here, killing some Kurzen fighters. This is where I met a rogue on the same quest. We group up and go berserk, pulling mob after mob, destroying everything in our wake. After slaying a majority of these mobs, I don't get a single life root. We go into a nearby cave and find a hunter. The hunter joins our group, and we set off deeper in the cave, hunting more medicine men. After a short while, we head back out of the cave because the rogue was a little scared. Outside, we pull a pack of 3 and burst them down, hoping that we get the medicine men drops. But no, we don't. This is one of the most irritating things about grouping for drop quests, not getting to loot the drops. But once we collect our 7th remedy, a sword drops, I decide to let the rogue have it, and we part ways. Turning in the quest, we ding level 35. We now have access to sweeping strikes. Sweeping strikes allows you to hit an additional target for the next 5 melee attacks, so it's almost like cleave, but with a cooldown. Now that we have hit level 35, our goal is completed for this episode. Thank you for watching. This video has taken me a long time to work on. My new job is quite demanding, so we will have to see what happens in the future, but I don't intend to quit making videos just yet. They'll just come out a little bit slower than expected. So set your calendar and prepare for the next adventure we embark on. Till next time, peace.